cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hey there, it's Mike. Welcome to the show. It's fun. It's called Mike's Daily Podcast. That's why they sing
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And this is episode 1986. 1986. That year, to me, was all kinds of mix. It was a mix of things, is what it was, is what I'm trying to say. There was people that I was knowing that I would know to this very day because of the high school and when we graduated.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
A lot of us stayed friends and said, let's be buds forever.
Mike's
But today,
Daily
I am so
Podcast.
happy to say that 1986 was a year where we had, let's see, the song. That was the big year because I graduated from. Oh, that was Van Halen trying to be Van Hagar. Do you remember that? People nowadays go, "Oh, Van Hagar, what a joke." But no, there were a lot of people that loved Sammy Hagar and his screechy, wonderful voice, and with him and Eddie Van Halen doing the guitar. Oh, but Eddie got really into synthesizers back then. So that was kind of a thing people were getting annoyed by. And then there was Janet Jackson. All over the place, Janet Jackson. She was huge. And Michael Jackson was starting to come out with Bad. I think that was the next year. I graduated high school, went to UCSB, and said, I'm going to get in radio. Because I would listen to the radio and hear this guy who did this, he'd do voices. He was on this top 40 station playing all the big hit songs like Lisa Lisa Cult Jam. And who else was big there? Glenn Frey. Glenn Frey had the song The Heat Is On, and that was getting played all the time. And this guy would go, hey, I've got a gorilla in the studio with me. How's it going, gorilla? I'm doing fine. And he would do this voice thing, and I thought it was the coolest, craziest.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Thing, and I rather enjoyed it. And maybe that inspired what I do in radio today. I don't know. But it's been a long time is what I'm trying to say. 1986. And the podcast picture today is actually from last night. There was this amazing moment. I was walking in downtown Oakland. Well, in the general area of Lake Merritt. And there was this very cool sunset happening. And Basil was not there, unfortunately. But I took a look at this amazing sunset, and I took a picture of it for you. And Basil, you can see it too. Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. That's right, Basil. Basil enjoyed the trip up to Mount Shasta that we did. He did stay in the car a lot of the time, although we would try and get him out as often as we could and let him sniff around and left the window down for him to smell some of the amazing aromas of nature. One of the things we did was we went to this performance in Mount Shasta. It was a guy and his daughter. His name is Joe Craven. And Joe is one of these guys that's all about trying to teach you music. If you feel like you have no musical skills whatsoever, he says, no, we do. All of us do. We all have the potential to do music. In fact, he grabbed someone out of the audience and basically taught them how to play the violin. He taught them how to play two notes and, just play the two notes over and over again. And then he took his mandolin and started playing around the song. And before you knew it, it sounded like a great song that you could dance a jig to or something. But he was an interesting guy. He did a lot for the community. And, Shasta has a lot of, how shall we put this, hippies. As I mentioned in the last show, hip-ass, get out of here, hip-ass. And, a lot of people, though, there's a community feel going on in Shasta. And Joe Craven, who lives there, I guess he lives there part-time. He also goes down to San Luis Obispo and Morro Bay in that area and has a camp where he teaches kids how to play instruments. But he was talking about, since in town in Shasta, they knew that he was a great musician and that he played the violin. They said, hey, look, Joe, there was a guy that used to wave to everyone who drove by on the main road here in Shasta. And, well, he had no place to live, and he preferred not to have a place to live. He liked living out in the great outdoors, basically being homeless. And he would sometimes have people would help him and let him stay with them. And, well, one day he was out there, and it gets really cold in Shasta, and he froze to death. He died. And so Joe was asked, can you play at his funeral? It's, basically people are pitching in or giving money for the funeral. We're going to bury him at the cemetery, and we'd love to have you come out and play. And Joe's like, okay, I'll be there. And Joe said that, he wasn't best with his timing. He, could be a little late, as a lot of artistic people are. And he showed up late to the funeral. He gets there. He thinks he's got the right directions. He gets to he goes to this area where he's got he sees some people out there. There's only 2 people left. Everybody else is left. And these 2 guys have shovels. And he's like, oh, I guess they're the only ones left. So they're off to the side. And so he sees this mound of dirt that was just dug up there. And he goes over to the mound and he goes, okay, I promised to do this, so I'm going to do this. So he starts playing Amazing Grace. And he plays the most beautiful rendition he said he ever played. It was just awe-inspiring. He was inspired to play this song, and the 2 guys with the shovels came over and listened, and as he's playing the song, they start to cry a little bit. And when he's done, the 2 guys, they slowly walked away. And as I'm walking outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valentino today. And so he puts the fiddle back in the case and he starts to walk away. And as he walks away, he hears one of the guys say, "That is the most amazing thing I've seen in 20 years of putting in septic tanks." Anyway, I don't know if that was a true story or not, but Cafe Anyway. That's where we are, is Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valentino, the last place on earth. And septic tanks, by the way, is a big part of my world these days. Still haven't put the septic tank in at the house. Hopefully we'll do that this year. Gosh, it's not going to be cheap. But yes, the guy, he went to the wrong place. He played at a septic tank where they just put a septic tank in the ground. He was not at the cemetery. Isn't that sad? And no one actually died in this story. But when he told that story, everybody in the room that he told the story to laughed. And that's that guy, Joe Craven. Look him up online. He said some very interesting things. One of the things he said was that you should not... Okay. Yesterday, someone I work with named Zach Blazin, and I'm saying his name because apparently he will never ever listen to this podcast, even though he knows I do a podcast. If he is listening to this podcast, wow, something just happened that never would have ever happened in ever. I don't think ever. But anyway, Zach said to me, "Mike, we all know that you do this podcast just for yourself. And it doesn't really matter if anyone listens." And I go, "Oh, maybe someone listens. Maybe someone from another planet listens." But this guy, Joe Craven, says, you know what? Do whatever it is that you want to express yourself with artistically. Do it. Because you might just inspire someone. You might just change a life, he said. No. The cynical side of you says, no, that's not possible. No. You very well could change a life if you do something that you want to do that expresses yourself. Tell your story, he said. Tell your story. Don't we all have amazing stories to tell? And we need to express those stories either through music or writing it or art or whatever you come up with that's in a positive frame of mind. Okay. Anyway, I thought that was very helpful. This is a very seminal show, this 1986 show, episode 1986. I'm just so happy to do this show for you today, even though I got to run in a minute because there's a broadcast happening at some kind of home real estate place that I have to help with the broadcast of, because I'm a busy guy and everyone is. Mike Matthews is in demand, everybody. Look who's out here at Cafe Anyway, the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcaster Valleyton. Hi, Mike. It's Benito the Road. How y'all here?
Answer this grown fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
I think I was on the last show.
I think you were. I think we're messed up today. Maybe this person's supposed to be here. Hello, Michael Marshall. It's me, Madame Rootabega. Yes, I was supposed to be on the show, but it's good to see you too. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Madame Rootabega.
Hi, Madame Rootabega. Good to see you too, y'all.
Madam, is it true that you are immortal?
Yes, it is very true. Oh.
Is it also true that you used to date Franklin Delano Roosevelt?
Yes, that's also true. Yes.
Is it true that you like being on Mike's show?
Yes.
Is it true that you took Mike's hair away?
No. Well, there you go. Now that we cleared that up. Yes, so the other thing that Joe Craven said, the show's basically all about Joe. I was told my lovely lady friend I would call this show Joe, but then someone else who listens to the show whose dad's name is Joe, I think the show is about her dad and it's not, so we'll have to do another show for him. But maybe that show I'll call Joe. But this show I might call Seminal, we'll see. But Joe Craven also said, life is, you really live life. You start to live life when you get out of your comfort zone. Outside of your comfort zone, that's where you live life. His little sayings were a lot more interesting and made people in the audience go, ooh, oh. Mine just probably made you go, what? Look who else is here right now. Cafe Anyway.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, it's very interesting what you're saying there about art.
Yeah, do you know that? What do you guys think of Michael Bloomberg?
Not a fan.
Yeah, he's buying the election. Do you know that? It's very interesting. Somebody showed me the exchange between Bernie and Bloomberg at the last debate. It's very interesting. And Bloomberg's got all his stuff with women that's not so good. Not good about Bloomberg. And they brought that up at the debate, and then Bloomberg went after Bernie's socialistic tendencies, and he's like, it's not socialistic, it's not communistic, it's about helping the people. We're the biggest country in the world, we need to help people. I saw people that need help and I want to help them because I'm Bernie. Feel the burn. Anywho, I'm on the radio tomorrow morning. You can listen. I'm on 92.1 KKDV. You can hear it in the Contra Costa County area. Also, you can hear it online at kkdv.com. But tell me what you think about all these fascinating sayings we got from Joe Craven. I guess his band is called the Sometimers. I think I promoted the heck out of this guy. I think we paid like $20 to see this performance, by the way. So hopefully the money went to a good cause, because he seems to be a good cause, helping people out. Hey, that's pretty much the end of the show. I gotta run. Tell your friends about this show. Tell me what you think about the show. You can call me 336MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews Daily. As in what this podcast almost was this week, except for the little Friday that got in the way. Got busy and ate Greek food. And it was a Greek restaurant where the guy actually came out, the owner, and talked to everybody and was super nice. And that it made you feel like family. It was also pretty pricey. But you know what? It made me feel like I was with family, and that's cool. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. You gotta treat yourself sometimes. Tell me what you think. 336MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM is in Mike Matthews Daily, as in what this podcast will try to be for the next 2 days at least. It's Mike's Daily Podcast. Sometimes it gets interrupted from time to time, but we try to get back on track with the daily thing. Okay, take it away, Ariel.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye.